I'd like to acknowledge presence of special guest in the audience. He is Dr. Raj Mansukani, Chairman of the Universal Wisdom Foundation, and Ms. Corinne Adyaton, Vice President for Operations of the Universal Wisdom Foundation. They have joined us to participate in our forum. Okay, so moving on, I would like to introduce to you Anthony James Vizmanos, who has been in the academic and training and education sector for 7 years and counting. He is the head of Buddhist literacy of the Universal Wisdom Foundation. Okay, so we're getting different views. We get one from the Catholic view, and we also believe that we can learn from the Buddhist point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our next speaker, AJ Vizmanos, on the universality of caring for creation. Take it on,
Good
AJ.
afternoon, everyone. Let me confirm if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. And I'll be sharing my screen. I have a few slides to share regarding our topic. Right? Just to confirm, you can see the screen right now.
Yes, we can see
All
it.
right. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm AJ Vizmanos, the current head of the Buddhist literacy of the Universal Wisdom Foundation Buddhist Youth Group. So, I'm one of the youth Buddhist leaders here in the Philippines. And thank you for the invite that we can share our views regarding the care of creations in the Buddhist point of view. All right. So this to share the one of the most common tenets we have here in the Philippines. Ang lahat ng bagay ay magkaugnay. Yes, it is true. Not just in the Filipino point of view, but also in the Buddhist point of view. Because in the Buddhist philosophy, there's a term called dependent origination, which is a loose translation of the Sanskrit term parati samupada, which describes the interconnectedness of nature and phenomena to all beings. Talagang sa Buddhism talaga ano yan. Everything's interconnected. You, the tree, the plant, the animal, all are interconnected to each other. And according to this one, there is nothing that is independently existing, as everything is interconnected by a plethora of strings of causalities, I mean. It's like a web. Like if I'm here, maybe someone is connected to me there, and that person is connected here and also connected to me. It's like a web. Everything and everyone is connected to another thing, living being or non-living being. And as beings and phenomena are interconnected to each other, the actions of being to other beings as well, whether sentient or not, it has a cause and effect relationship that affects one's earning or loss of merits. Sa Tagalog, common sa atin yung term na karma. Because what we do to other beings, whether that is living, non-living, or sentient or non-sentient, it earns you a merit or karma. So well, I keep saying the word sentient. So what is that sentient term? So sentient versus non-sentient beings, because just a preview of what Buddhism is. A sentient being is dependent on the 5 aggregates, or what we call skandhas. According to the Kanda Sutta, or one of our Buddhist texts, like in the Bible, di ba, ang dami mga books under the Bible. You have, for example, you have the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, everything in the Old Testament, and then you have the Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, going to the letters of Paul. You have a collection of books. Similar to Buddhism, we have many, many books that teaches us the Dharma or the teachings of Buddhism. One of them here is Kanda Sutta, that discusses about the 5 aggregates or skandhas. That tells what you call the sentience of a being. Number 1, the form or material being. Me, this my body is my form. This is my material form. Number 2, sensation or feeling thereof. If I like touch, if I knock on my hand, I feel my knock. If I slap you, you feel my slap. Something like that. Because everyone that is sentient will have a sensation or the feeling thereof. Perceptions. Like for example, this thing. And then I throw this thing to my face. Alam mo yung iiwas tayo, right? It's because you have a perception. A perception of possibly getting hurt or a perception of possibly getting burnt if you like touch the stove, something like that. You have a perception. The fourth is the mental state of the present time or past lives. Me, my mental state right now is discussing to you on what I can share about the universality of caring for other beings. But but there's something in me that also thinks about my past lives. It's a very deep discussion in Buddhism that can be discussed on a different avenue because past lives is a different topic. But having that thought of the current state and the past lives is what defines a sentient being. And the fifth one, discernment or choice. Like for example, I have my phone here. I can discern to like touch my phone or not. It's because of my choice. My choice is to keep my focus on talking to you guys. And a sentient being has a choice. Like for example, let's take for example a dog. We all love dogs. I have a pet. Our pet dog can either choose to get a treat or wait for you to give one. Yung dog ko kasi, alam niya kasi meron akong treat container. Sometimes he, pushes the treat container so that the sticks can just fall out and then kuha siya. May choice din siya to wait to, give him a stick kasi it rewards him more for me to play with him and, give him a stick of treat. May choice sila. Sabihin natin, ang mga lamok din naman, walang choice yan kasi they need to suck blood for life. No, they actually have a discernment. A study from a zoological study actually says that mosquitoes have a discernment on who to bite. And they have a preferential thing to bite people with darker skin color. That's a proven study by the zoologists. So may discernment pa rin. Hindi niya discernment yung pagsuck ng blood for their lives, but they have discernment on who to possibly bite. Mga ganun bagay. Sentience also refers to the ability of the living being to experience illusion, mga thoughts, imagination, suffering, sorry for the wrong spelling, suffering, and suffering or dukkha. Dukkha is the term for suffering. Kaya sa Pilipino, di ba, yung term na dukha. Kasi pag dukha ka, sabi nila, nagdudusa ka. Because it's a term. Suffering is called dukkha in Sanskrit. Or rebirth or samsara. Having those will define you as a sentient being. Am I still clear? Am my voice clear? Everyone can confirm?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I think my mic is like crackling kasi I thought I'm losing. All right. When you talk about the non-sentient and sentient beings, we talk first on how to care for non-sentient beings. This first paragraph is quite long, but I can share my slides to the organizers anyway. According to one of our Dharma or Buddhist texts, the Samanapala Sutta, the Buddha said, in a summary term here, of course, the Buddhist priests or the monks are supposed to be contemplative. It should be, kumbaga sa Buddhism kasi, especially in the Theravada tradition, in Thailand, in Cambodia, in Myanmar, yung mga monks, meron siya tinatawag na alms round. They go around para mahingi ng food, and then that's it's their sustenance for the entire day. However, some has the habit of, after nila makakuha ng alms round nila o upo sa ilalim ng puno, may tendency sila, alam mo yun, yung ugali ng tao talaga na hindi maiwasan, yung kukutkot. And sometimes, yung mga yun nga, yung observe ni Buddha, na yung mga nag-alms round na monks, after umupo sa puno, kinukutkot yung roots and yung seeds ng tree. And hindi dapat ginagawa yun. You should abstain from damaging the seeds and the plant life such as trees, because this too is a virtue of a Buddhist. Why? The seeds, the buddings, the joints, the stems, the cuttings kahit sila ay non-sentient beings, they are still a form of life. Kaya dapat hindi ito basta-basta sinisira. Like for example, may mga tao na natuwa lang masyado, nag-pick ng flower. Ano gagawin sa flower? Ano ilalagay dito? So mamamatay na after yung flower? No. Sometimes the best idea is to, if you pick a flower, you put it in a vase with water, with nutrients so that the flower can grow. Or you get cuttings from trees so that you can propagate the plant. But never in the Buddhist care of non-sentient beings should you get those plants just for fun. Yung iba, alam mo yung iba na kinukuha lang yung branch and then wala lang, play around. That is not a Buddhist way of caring for a non-sentient being. In this slide, you can see the big tree here. That is what we call the holy Bodhi tree. That is a propagation of the main tree from where the Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama meditated and he got his enlightenment. This is located in Broadway Avenue in Quezon City. Everyone can visit us here. Actually, I'm actually right here right now. And this tree is very sacred to us Buddhists. And bawal na bawal pumitas ng dahon dyan. You can only get leaves as a remembrance here pag nalaglag na siya. It means it already lost its life. But if you want as a remembrance that you can keep on your book or in your journal, you can click has already fallen down. But never can you touch the tree and pick a fresh leaf or a fresh twig. Why? Because that still has life. That still can become a new tree. Unlike if it's fallen already, it's already lost its life. Similar to other plants, ayaw natin na humuhugot lang just for fun. Kaya mga anak natin, pagsabihan natin, yung mga bata gumaganon-ganon na hagpat natin yung mga flowers, hagpat natin yung mga ano. That is not really doing care for our plants because those plants still can be able to have life afterwards. Next, how do we now care for the sentient beings in the lower realm? Just a quick discussion on what the lower realm is. All the sentient beings below human level are those that are on the lower realm. For example, we are in the human level here. We have the animals, the insects, the ghosts. We call it the ghosts or the hungry ghosts. And above the humans, we have the gods, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, maganon siya. So everywhere below the human realm, you still have to care for them. And our pets, especially, do have, they are lower realms from us, but they're sentient. So how do we care for them? I myself belong to the Mahayana tradition of Buddhism, and Mahayana and other schools of Buddhism believe in what you call the Buddha nature. The Buddha nature is the propensity of animals to attain Buddhahood in the process of their rebirth. For example, my dog. I sometimes wish that my dog can also be human in his next life. Maganon. Because they have Buddhahood already. Or Buddha nature already. So, and most of the time, these animals are the ones that exhibit greater sentience among all other sentient animals. And sometimes these animals exhibit human-like behavior. Especially our dogs, our cats. Diba? Sometimes, alam niyo, parang even though they are animals, they like speak to us. You understand them. Even though they're dogs, we understand and know what they're trying to convey to us. Because they exhibit what we call the human-like behavior. And therefore, these animals manifest Buddha nature. And therefore, we care for them as if they are also one of us. Here's a happy thought. Here's a Theravadin monk who engages his pet. Sorry, pause ko muna saglit. Yan. Ito siya. He's a Theravadin monk from Thailand. And ito yung kanyang pet cat. And ginagawa niya, he reads Dharma or Buddhist lessons to his cat. Why? Because the cat has Buddha nature. And the monk, sharing the Dharma to the cat, is actually sharing merits or good karma shared within the monk and the pet. Look, kakausap niya, parang tao lang din. Ayan na. And look at how the cat is exhibiting human-like characteristics. Look, see, the cat is actually communicating with the monk, exhibiting human-like behavior, therefore manifesting Buddha nature. That's why we treat our pets and other sentient animals with Buddha nature, same with us humans. Let's proceed. In Buddhism, we have a practice of what we call the life release. And hindi lang naman to common sa Buddhism, it's also actually being practiced by many environmental advocates. I see others who are releasing, yeah, like this one, they're releasing the turtles from captivity to the oceans. Some naman releases birds, butterflies. Some of them are fishes. But in the Buddhist point of view, which is considering the ecological impact of these activities, there are rules of thumb. Number one, only native and non-invasive species should be released during life release ceremonies. Ang pinaka-common na ginagawa namin here sa Wisdom Park, we do release pigeons. Pigeons are non-invasive. Pigeons are native to us here in the Philippines. And sometimes nga, they love how the nature here in the Wisdom Park is like. It's like, so some of them stay here. They do not fly too far away because they appreciate how well nature here in Wisdom Park was taken care of. Number two, release should only be done in the right habitat of the animals. May na-encounter akong video na sobrang inis na inis ako. Na bumili sila na napakaraming goldfish and they released it in the ponds or in the rivers. It's actually very bad. Why? These goldfish are actually invasive to those rivers and will actually cause more harm than good to the ecosystem of the rivers. So dapat non-invasive siya. And of course, in the right habitat. May iba naman bumibili ng puffer fish from the pet store. Release sa dagat. Later did they realize that those puffer fish are freshwater puffer fish. So they actually did again more bad than good because they released the puffer fish in the wrong habitat. So in ending, namatay lang din yung animal. So it was a really wrong practice of life release. And lastly, animals who are domesticated should be adopted or instead rather than released. Why? For example, I have a pet dog and I decided, ila-life release ko na lang siya kasi he deserves to be with nature. The problem is, my dog is domesticated. He's used to being taken care of as if it's a house dog. And lalong mamamatay yung animal if you release the animal na domesticated in the wild. They do not have the mechanism and the defense capacity to survive. So what can we do as in a Buddhist point of view? We adopt and take care of them. I have 4 cats that are actually marami na sila before. Kasi things happen. But I have really syempre para naman hindi ma-suffer yung quality of life ng animals. We look for other adoptees. Para naman syempre they look for other homes. But if I release those cats in the wild or in the streets, they would still be street cats. They have the risk to be killed, masagasaan, and to be hungry. So I'd rather adopt and take care of them and find homes for the other animals that will take care of them because they're already domesticated. They don't have the capacity and the defense mechanism to survive in the wild. That's how we do proper life release. The quandary of creation is actually the universality of cause and condition. As mentioned earlier on how we take care of them, these sentient and non-sentient beings are not creations in the Buddhist point of view. We have to remember that Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is a belief system that is based heavily in scientific and knowledge-driven backgrounds. The idea of quote-unquote creation in the Buddhism side takes part in the cycle of rebirth under the cause and condition concept. Ano yon? In this concept, the idea of adaptation, Natural selection and succession plays a big part. As environmentalists, we all know the laws of Charles Darwin, right? That that creations, quote unquote, creations or beings do adapt, become selected naturally, and succeed in the ecosystem. These living beings are created, quote unquote, as a cause of the condition that it is subjected to. Like, for example, if you go in the deeper areas of the oceans, you will see or you will watch from documentaries yung mga fishes na may mga ilaw sa ulo, yung may mga big claws or the blobfish. Why are they created as such? Quote unquote again. It is because they adapt to the habitat or the condition that they are in. High pressure, low light, and high pressure. So yun, yung mga bagay or the conditions of that one will dictate on how that creature will become quote unquote created, or the cause of their existence matters in the condition that they are in. Ano nangyayari ngayon? Pansin natin, ito ang sample, ito yung tunay na koi fish, for example. Paano nabuhay ang mga shubunkins or another variety of koi? Kois live only in the freshest and cleanest ponds or rivers. But due to the fact that in our environment, there are already dirty rivers, dirty esteros, dirty creeks, what happens? Ang nangyari ay, nagkaroon na shubunkin or a variety of koi that can thrive in brackish water. Yung adaptation of the animal because of their condition matters there. Nangyayari minsan ito. Alam naman natin, or trivia for everyone, that if you know janitor fish or pleco, pleco is actually a family of the catfish. Kapamilya niya mga hito. But due to brackish conditions of dirty rivers, dirty esteros, and the invasiveness of other species, si pleco nag-develop ng tough skin and mas masangsang yung amoy, pangit yung flesh. It's because they have to adapt to conditions of what happened. In the Indian country, sorry, in India. Indian countries, I mean, we have Bangladesh, we have India. Siyempre, alam naman natin some of their rivers already polluted. May mga ganun nangyayari. That their natural fish in the ocean adapt or change. Or they morph into something that they can, kumbaga they can survive. Yung succession niya happens because they have to really adapt to the changes in the habitat because of pollution, because of invasive species. They have to change. So nagkakaroon ng quote-unquote created new species or nagkaroon ng cause of their existence. Where in fact, tayo mismong tao, dapat iniingatan natin ang ating ecosystem, ang ating environment, so that these older species that are naturally existing will not be extinct or not adapt and change or succeed to another form of being. Yun ang pinakamasakit na nangyayari sa atin. They are not newly created species, but their existence are caused by the conditions that happened. So, syempre, tayo naman, bilang tao, we also have to take care of other human beings. And sabi ko kanina, we treat our animals as if they're also humans. How do we care for human beings and beings with Buddha nature the Buddhist way? In Buddhism, showing one's care to one's own self and other human beings is guided by the Noble Eightfold Path. These are guides towards the practice of the 5 precepts that one accepts as a Buddhist. When I was accepting my Buddhist nature, parang sa Catholicism, also sa Christianity in general, or in those who believe in the Bible, you have the 10 commandments that guide you. And a lay person or a lay Buddhist, ang pinafollow naman namin ay ang 5 precepts. Kasama doon, syempre, common sa atin, do not kill, do not steal, do not lie. Sa amin nga lang, meron kaming do not intake intoxicants. So, talagang may avoidance kami to alcohol, cigarettes, anything that can cloud your mind. So, yun, sa doon ng 5 precepts natin. And the Eightfold Path is a guide on how we can, kumbaga, how can we obey in a daily life yung 5 precepts natin. And, you know, ang purpose talaga ng Buddhist is to relieve oneself from suffering through the obedience to the 5 precepts and through doing the through following the Noble Eightfold Path. Number 1, right understanding. When you see right understanding, yun yung tamang pag-intindi natin, hindi lang sa mga bagay-bagay sa mundo, but also sa isa't isa sa atin. Of course, misunderstanding causes strife, and strife from each other also also causes suffering. So right understanding will start to prevent suffering suffering sa self natin. Right thought. Right thought, siyempre dapat, kumbaga, guided tayo by proper morals, ethical considerations. So that's what we practice. Right speech. So siyempre talaga iiwasan mo ang pagsasalita ng masasakit at masasama mga words. Why? Because it will hurt another person. And when the other person gets hurt, you also suffer because you did something wrong. Right action. Ito yung mga mahirap, mga ethical consideration. For example, so puputol ka ba ng puno para magkaroon ka ng tirahan? O gagamitin mo ang mga usable fallen trees for you to create your furniture? Those are right actions and considerations. Next, right livelihood. Ito na yung masasabi natin, pipiliin mo ba ang madaling bagay pero mali o mahirap na bagay pero tama? I am a worker in the NGO sector. I actually am working for the ABS-CBN Foundation, Programa Henyo, and my projects or our projects rely mainly on the alleviation of illiteracy. We do education projects. Pero, anyone here who works for the NGO, our salaries are not really high. We have to admit. But we all know that what we are doing is helping the nation, helping other people. And the mere feeling of doing the right thing relieves me from suffering because I am not corrupt. I am not stealing from the money of the people. Kahit maliit na sweldo ko, tama ang ginagawa ko. And that is right livelihood. May mga iba naman, sige, malaking sweldo nyo na sa corporate kayo, pero still, as long as you're doing the right thing, you're not oppressing your staff, you're not hurting anyone, you deserve what you're earning, then that is right livelihood. Right effort. Yung mga iba, sige, let's say, in terms of things, yung mga iba ginagawa nila yung right effort, yung kumbaga, they're doing the right effort, but, ang bagal ng returns, or you're doing the wrong effort, pero ang bilis ng returns. Doon tayo sa wala tayong konsensyang sinisira. For the case of right mindfulness and right concentration, that is why the Buddhists do a lot of meditation. That is why we do a lot of readings of our lessons and lectures. Why? Because we want to practice the right mindfulness, the right mindsets, and the right concentration. Actually, I am diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but through Buddhism and the practice of right concentration, hindi na ako dependent on medical intervention for my ADHD. And through these practices, hindi iwasan natin mag-suffer. And that avoidance of suffering will prevent having to hurt other human beings. And not having to hurt other beings is showing that you care for them. So in conclusion, the universality of the care of quote-unquote creation relies on the interconnectedness of one being to another, sentient or non-sentient. It is important to care for every being as as if it affects us one way or another. We may not be aware of it or not, but it happens. Hindi natin alam that we are actually connected to someone in this chat, in this group, in this Zoom room. At magulat na lang tayo, how are we connected to them? Because the world and its environment is relied mainly on the web of interconnection to each other. And with that, I would like to thank everyone for listening. And here in Wisdom Park, we are located in Broadway Avenue in Quezon City. You're all free to visit us. And if you have more questions regarding how we do things here, the Buddhist way, let us know. We're open from 8 to 5 every day. So we're hoping to see you guys one time soon. Let us know. We have our Facebook page so you can visit. And it's me again, AJ Vizmanos from the Buddhist Youth Group of the Universal Wisdom Foundation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, AJ. That was whew, mind-blowing. And I really believe that everything is interconnected. Ang lahat ng bagay magkakaugnay. Kay Joey Ayala na song yan eh. That was my theme
Yes.
song in my radio program for 3 years, I think, on the environment. Yeah. So, maganda siya. Talagang doon nagsisimula lahat tingin ko, no? Na the realization that everything is interconnected. So, because you have to leave, ito
Yes.
na yung sinasabi ko kanina na we have to adjust our normal flow because
That's correct.
AJ has to leave. So, we are going to have a mini Q&A for him, just for him.
Thank you very much for accommodating.
Yeah.
Actually, meron talaga ako nauna because, para sa foundation, I really have to get stakeholders involved to give us donations. But sabi ko, when you invited us, I cannot say no to this. So, dito pa rin tayo.
Important to hear the Buddhist perspective because lahat naman ng religion magkakaugnay. Di ba? So,
Interconnected. Medyo may overlaps, no?
yes,
Yes.
Same
yes.
perspective in many areas.
Yeah. Religion and spirituality, that's another topic.
Mm.
Yung iba may perception na religion is different. That religion is spirituality pala, no? Parang iniisip nila pag religious ka, spiritual ka, which is not necessarily true, no?
Yeah, that's true. It's not
Yeah.
doesn't follow really.
Yeah. So anyway, are there any questions from the gallery there?
Okay, the
Tessa?
floor is open for
We have,
a
we
mini
have,
Q&A.
we have raised hands here.
Yes, there's Tessa. She's raising her hand. Yes, Tessa?
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you for your insights. It really made me think, no? I was just thinking because you said we will be actually the succeeding generations will be growing or will be affected by the environment that they are exposed to. Okay, we know that our world is changing. We have more technologies now. Children are using most of the time their cell phones. So I was thinking, anong klaseng human beings will we have? What kind of values would we have with this kind of environment? So what would be your advice to parents who are I mean, nakakatakot yung if you really think about it, hindi ba? Mawawala yung ating human
Yeah.
values and characteristic.
Pati itsura.
Yeah.
Kapalit yan.
In my opinion, on how we view life and other beings, and of course, tama kayong term kanina may nag-chat na artificially human na iba. What I recommend is you still bring your children to areas where they can experience nature. Like ako mismo, like if I want my peace of mind, alone, in the world talaga, in the work world, we need time with nature. And my nature abode here is Wisdom Park. In the front of Wisdom Park, we have trees, we have plants that I can just sit down, look at the Buddha, look at the trees, and stop everything just to meditate. But in the case of other areas, naman, ang dami pa. There are Roseros Park in Manila. In Quezon City, Commonwealth, there is what you call the La Mesa Eco Park. We have in Circle, we have QC Circle, we have Ninoy Aquino Parks and Wildlife. Because the children, once we make them realize that they are the quote-unquote creations, di ba? They can appreciate on how they can care. Hindi pwede puro pets lang kinikare. The children has to learn how to care for other sentient beings that they are not pets. Mamaya kasi may kwento ko lang, may encounter ako, bata, natuwa, yung alam niyo yung maya sa atin na brown, natuwa, kasi may fletchling na bumaba, so hindi siya ganun lumilipad, kinuha at kinwish ng sobra. Kasi wala siyang perception of these beings. But if we expose these children early on how to properly care for them, like for example, punta kayo sa park, you see that bird, what you see, you only look at the bird. You don't touch the bird, you don't swat the bird. You just look and kumbaga, enjoy the hum of the bird, enjoy the colors of the bird. We ourselves as parents, ang totoo sa kanila, ganun ang pagtrato sa kanila. Because in the Buddhist point of view, the more we harm, the more we put our karma down. So that is what we're teaching our younger generation, to appreciate and see the nature as it is. Even with trees or plants. Oh anak, wag mong bunutin yung plant. Buhay pa yan. Ganun. Again, because those plants, even though they're not sentient, they still manifest life. Si mga bata na mahilig gumanon sa labas, ng mga kung ano-anong plants, or yung damo ginaganon, we will teach them. Ginawa nila ngayon, hindi sila kasi aware. So there's no sin. In the Buddhism point of view, there's no sin committed yet. But if you did it repetitively, kasi nga, hindi ka nakinig sa magulang mo or something, doon na yon. That is where your karma will do a play on it. But as parents, you will see, anak, wag mo ulitin yan, buhay yung halaman na yan, tutubo pa yan, mamumulaklak pa yan. So we ourselves will teach them how to take care of those plants. Because again, those plants, buhay. Maybe, for example, we go to the beach. Instead of like getting the living hermit crab, we'll just get the shells na alam natin hindi na buhay. O anak, don't touch the hermit crab. Let the hermit crab go back to the ocean. But you can get these shells. Or you can get these dead corals. Mga ganung bagay. Because you will teach them the right thing. And you will also do benefit to the living being that you are saving. Because yung turuan mo sila na wag i-harm yung animal na yun. Yung animal na yun will also live long. Ang ganun bagay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Naaaliw ako, Randy, dun sa mga comments sa chat box.
Meron ba?
Okay.
Children looking like
Those with
robots.
low karma can reincarnate as microorganisms. No. No. Bacteria, virus are non-sentient beings. And we don't reincarnate as a non-sentient being. We get rebirth as sentient beings. But it's our duty as sentient beings to take care of the non-sentient as long as they have life.
Okay, any questions from the gallery? Easy peasy. While we have AJ here, bago siya tumakbo.
Don't worry, if you have other questions bigla mag-pop up, andito lang madalas sa lang kami. We can have a short discussion anytime here. We're here at 8 to 5. You can just message our Facebook group, Facebook page.
So what we really wanted to show is that it's care for the environment is taught in most religions, hindi ba?
Yes.
Although Buddhism is not religion, but most spiritual movements.
Yes.
Thank you. Nasa akin pa yung anong what?
Right.
There a question?
Any other,
I cannot, Marie, can you check the chat chat room?
Sa chat room, wala naman po.
Wala na, wala
I
na.
auto check eh.
Mga,
The
mga
facade of the building. Sa facade ng building ng Wisdom Park, wag kayong mahiya, matakot. Medyo, syempre kasi design siya according to the Buddhist designs kasi talaga. But, kasi kasi if you observe sa mga pictures in the internet, may lumang design kasi. Yung ngayon, medyo okay siya kasi mas malawak na yung stairs and mas brighter na yung blue and kita mo agad yung stupa. So, wag kayong may malaki na siyang parang marking na may metal marking na Universal Wisdom Foundation. Pasok lang kayo. Huwag kayong matakot. Kung ano man, for example, if medyo nag-aalangan kayo at if you're on the way going to our facility at nandito naman kami, chat lang kayo. We will be waiting for you sa baba. Wala na po yung polyphrase. Ay, sorry. Ayan. Wala na yung mga lumang designs daw na yan. You will see the big metal marking of UWFI. You can just visit us. And then yun nga po, if you medyo nag-aalangan kayo, chat nyo lang po kami sa Facebook page namin and someone can go down and welcome you to go in. There's
okay.
a common phrase, Jatava, which also refers to seeing the repercussions. Yes. Yun nga po.
Adjatawa Bahidawa.
Yes. Everything everything has its exchange. If you do good, you will get good in exchange. But if you do bad, we cannot say. I don't want to
Action and
presume.
reaction. Action and reaction.
Yes. Kaya that's why,
Consequence. Lahat may
then,
consequence.
ayaw naman na sabihin eye for an eye, pero sabihin lang natin, just do good and good will get back to you.
Yes.
And,
In a way,
the one here,
what I'll be sharing
the
towards
question
the
dito, is
end.
there a dress code daw?
Ma'am
Into your
Kareem, may dress
place?
code ho ba tayo?
May dress code ba kayo? Bawal ang shorts? Ganun?
Yes. Wala naman siya talaga strict na na dress code, pero yun, tama po si Sir Ruan na dapat it's as if you're going to church. Huwag kayong mag-short shorts, huwag kayong mag-revealing top, no sandals, ganyan. Basta kumbaga t-shirt is fine, pants are fine, basta alam lang natin na we're going there because go there respectfully lang, ganon.
Respect is the word, I think. No?
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions? Comments? Wala na ba kang nakikita dyan, Randy? Wala na raised hands?
Wala na po from this.
Wala na. Thank you very
Sir.
much, AJ. That was very enlightening. And what we do to the least of our brethren as the
That's
Catholics
true.
say.
It's very
The
similar.
least of our brethren can be the animals and the trees and the, so pareho lang din, di ba? In a way.
Yes, very, very much similar. And kumbaga, yun nga po tama rin. Belief systems as well, religions or not, are also connected to each other.
Yes, true.
And important thing here, tama po yung term, we respect each other because one can learn something from the other.
Oo. Tingin ko dyan yung religion kasi, yung spirituality is the important thing. Ngayon, yung religion is the club that helps you practice your spirituality. Di ba? Parang ganun. So,
I agree.
Anyway,
club
I'll be sharing later on, no? And I think what I would share complements what the AJ said, no? Some
Yeah.
teaching.
Good. Kasi alam mo, di ba nag-seminaryo ka, Randy?
Yeah. No. I was Jesuit dapat ako.
Ako rin muntik na maging madre. Ikaw naman seminarista. So this topic is close to our hearts, no?
Right.
Yeah. So thank you very much, AJ, for giving us your time. We are connected.
Oo.
Yes.
Sige, salamat AJ.
Thank
you
you,
very
and I'll
much.
be leaving
Thank
now.
you.